This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin. Freakin.
Buddy, you don't have to tell me I'm late. I knew I was running late. Welcome to the Troll Patrol. Live. It's a freaking Wednesday? Yeah, it's a Wednesday. Yes, I will do the story about the Quebec Elections Board on the Freak Show on Friday. Special guest host, Starkraving. Starkraving is going to be the special guest host this coming Friday. Fox, good evening. Warlord, good evening. Glad to see you guys. I am just slightly late. The countdown started before 8 o'clock. I was alerted to the fact that you can get a lot of views on YouTube through these things they call shorts. I just happened to have been making my content for TikTok, and that content goes on YouTube, and I just figured out how to do it last night. That's why you've seen a deluge of shorts, the Justin Freakin channel, and I thought it would be prudent to put a short up right as I was coming on. That way maybe it gets a bunch of views and people will click over and watch the live show. Phoebe, good evening. Love your face. Glad to see you. You're not going to be here long. I want to make sure that you see the meme of the day. I said I wasn't going to run out of Queen jokes anytime soon, but we've moved on. We've moved on. Though this meme seems a little dated now. I believe the Chuds have moved on to being upset about the Little Mermaid now. Is that a thing? Right-wingers are losing their minds about the Little Mermaid being black? I'm not high enough for this shit, I can tell you that. What are we talking about tonight? Actually did a good job putting the news together. My man Bernie. Gonna get multiple clips of Bernie tonight. He's on a roll. Shut down Republicans trying to stop the railway strike that is brewing. Also, we're going to talk about the impact that's going to have. Inflation was higher than expected this past month. And if the railway strike goes through, that could also be bad news for inflation. But inflation was driven by consumers. A really weird economy we're in right now. Stocks crashed earlier this week, and all the right-wingers were losing their minds. Apparently they're up again today. They were acting like it was Black Friday from back in the fucking Depression. Catalyst of the Depression. And here, today, stocks are up again. Stonks. We're going to talk about Trump. DOJ has said that delaying their review of the materials seized at Mar-a-Lago will cause irreparable harm to national security. Plus, we're going to talk about Trump flunkies like Mike Lindell, who had his cell phone seized at a party last night. I've got some footage of Lindell throwing a shit fit over it. That should be fun. Plus, Rudy Giuliani and Jeff Clark both face disciplinary actions, I believe, from the state bar associations, for being attorneys that broke the law on behalf of Trump. We're going to do some foreign affairs tonight. The Swedish PM has resigned. The Justice Department has charged 3 Iranians, I believe it was. We're also going to talk about how it doesn't look like the Iran deal is going to go through. I keep hearing mixed reports on this. There are people in the Biden administration apparently that think that they can still salvage the Iran deal, but it really seems like it's not going to happen. And like charging the Iranians today, I don't know how that's going to work out. UN is warning of escalation in Syria back to a full-blown civil war. Armenia has accused Azerbaijan of slaughtering more than 100 people. There was a supposed bomb that exploded at a university in Boston last night. Turns out it wasn't a bomb. And the worker that reported it said some really weird things about Zuckerberg and Facebook. We're going to hear from the Arizona Secretary of State nominee for the Republican Party, who apparently had some batshit crazy things to say about Mike Pence. A reporter confronted a QAnon candidate in Oklahoma. I think it's Oklahoma. I might have meant to write Ohio there. I'm sorry. Might be confused. We'll find out when we get there. New text messages show the Brett Favre welfare scandal runs way deeper than we knew. We're going to update you on the trial in Parkland for the Parkland shooter, as well as the Alex Jones defamation trial brought by the Sandy Hook families. Apparently, testimony got wild in both of those cases today. Man in Denver called the cops for help. I think you guys know where this is going. The cops shot and killed him. Black pastor was arrested while watering his neighbor's flowers. In Florida, a man has been charged for a crime against a black historian. Apparently tried to run him over. Plus, a professor at Carnegie Mellon says her job is safe after hoping that the queen died in excruciating pain, apparently. All that and more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Yeah, the stranded driver in Colorado, that is a fucked up story. I do not look forward to that one. Cicero, because I've already got a little preview. I kind of know what happened. Media Winch, love your face. Good evening. Fuck yeah, I am rooting on the union in the railroad strike. Everybody was doing well this Wednesday evening. I'm not high enough for this shit. We'll see if we can get high enough for this shit, and then we'll do the news. How's that sound? Sound like a plan? Maybe one more yet? Oh god, I got people messaging me on Discord over here. Huh. Still don't know what's going on over here on the Discord, but I'll approve your friend request, sir. I sent Media Winch over to Jackson Hinkle's Discord last night to try to get me back in. Apparently, I really upset them, and they will not let me back in, even though I thought I smoothed things over in his YouTube chat the other night. I'm a hell of a lot better than I've been the last couple of days. I've been in just a bit of a funk. I didn't feel well. I had like a nauseous thing going on. Way better today. Other than not being high enough for this shit. But that's a chronic issue in my life. Boom! Boom! Get it? Not being high enough for this shit is a chronic issue in my life. I'm gonna pack it up. You leave on a high note. Pull the George Costanza rule. All right, good night, everybody. Can't top that. Yeah, Moggs, I had that story the other night. That's the night that the debate with Joven happened, and I accidentally deleted all my notes. Man, his I'm getting invited to something. I don't even know what it is though. Okay. I think I'm supposed to be on a show tomorrow actually. To be honest with you guys, there may not be a Troll Patrol tomorrow night. I may be on somebody's panel. I can't remember. I'll need to verify that. And yes, I'm aware I do a very bad job of promoting my appearances elsewhere and shit. I don't even know. I don't even see the message thread anymore. Who knows? Maybe not. We'll see. Tune in tomorrow. Maybe Troll Patrol. Maybe not. Who knows? Let's do some news. I'm pretty high. Oh, God. Yeah, I need to be high for this. Let's get serious for a minute. Oh, no. The show is pretty serious. The whole thing. Just don't watch this show tonight. Just don't watch it. Armenia says 105 troops killed in Azerbaijan border clashes. Azerbaijan says 50 of its own troops have also been killed in the fighting, which both sides blame on the other. It is the latest in a series of long-running conflicts fought between the two former Soviet republics over the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region. Nagorno-Karabakh. Whatever that shit is. Maybe I'm not in the mood to do this. Find out what it's called. Learn something tonight. This former in this region that was formerly of the Soviet Republic.
Artsakh, located in the South Caucasus, within the mountain range between Azerbaijan and Armenia. How do you go about pronouncing the name of this region? Nagorno-Karabakh.
Nagorno-Karabakh. Nagorno-Karabakh. That is the Nagorno. I've already fucked it up. I'm sorry. Russia and the U.S. have each called for peace between the two countries. Speaking to his country's parliament, Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan said 105 Armenian servicemen had been killed since Monday night in attacks he blamed on Azerbaijan. He also accused Azeri troops of occupying 10 square kilometers of Armenian territory this week and said he had now turned to Russia for military assistance, longtime ally of Armenia. Nagorno-Karabakh. Nagorno-Karabakh. Box with the phonetical spelling. A little bit, Media Winch, a little bit. I probably should take a few days off. I am planning to take a Friday off here shortly. Maybe I'll take a Sunday off and make it a long weekend. Speaking of former Soviet satellite countries, Syria could return to larger scale fighting, the UN warns. UN report finds grave violations of fundamental human rights and humanitarian law have increased across the country. Syria is on the verge of another flare-up that could spell a return to large-scale combat, the United Nations has warned in a new report. Today, Syrians face increasing and intolerable hardships living among the ruins of this lengthy conflict. Millions are suffering and dying in displacement camps while resources are becoming scarcer and donor fatigue is rising. This is according to Paul Sergio Pinheira, chair of the UN's Syria Commission. Syria cannot afford a return to larger scale fighting, but that is where it may be heading, he said on Wednesday. In recent months, an intensification along Syria's northern front has increased the suffering of citizens, warned the Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the Syrian Arab Republic in its report. Hundreds of thousands of people have died and millions have been made homeless since protests against President Bashir al-Assad in 2011 escalated into a civil war that drew in foreign powers and left Syria carved into zones controlled by rival parties. Meanwhile, the world needs to be ready for Russia to disintegrate, according to a U.S. general. Becoming increasingly clear that Ukraine is going to win this war and that the Kremlin faces a historic crisis of confidence. Apparently, Putin says he did not make a mistake invading Ukraine. Indeed, I now believe it is a genuine possibility that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin's exposed weaknesses are so severe that we might be witnessing the beginning of the end, not only of his regime, but of the Russian Federation itself. This is according to Courtney Hodges. Oh, Ben Hodges. What the fuck? Courtney Hodges, United States General. According to Hodges, the potential Russian collapse could be gradual before it suddenly becomes abrupt, violent, and chaotic, as if it's not already violent and chaotic. Ida, good evening. I love your face. Welcome. We failed to prepare for this possibility in the way that we failed to prepare for the collapse of the Soviet Union. It could introduce immense instability to our geopolitics, the general wrote. Bulletproof, good evening. Welcome. I love your face. Thank you for being here. Meanwhile, former Governor Bill Richardson has visited Russia to try to secure the release of Brittany Griner. Apparently, the Biden administration is distancing itself from Bill Richardson's efforts, but Brittany Griner's family welcomes the visit. If you will remember, a couple of weeks back, Dennis Rodman was wanting to make a trip to Russia to try to get her freed. And I'm like, dude, if you can do it, fucking do it. I don't care. Get her back. If Dennis Rodman can go over there and fucking get her back, cool. Let him go do it. But apparently he didn't go after consulting with the State Department. So I assumed that meant they had a deal in the works. We had heard about a potential deal to trade prisoner for prisoner. Fuck yeah, they were NWO for life. Too sweet. So now, apparently the Biden administration is telling Richardson not to go over there, which is like, well, what are you guys doing to get her back? What are you doing to get back the teacher that is also over there? United States diplomat Bill Richardson visited Russia this week. Several news outlets have reported amid efforts to secure the release of American basketball player Brittany Griner and U.S. military veteran Paul Whelan. The U.S. State Department on Wednesday distanced itself from the trip, stressing that Washington is engaged with Moscow through established channels to secure the two Americans' release. Doesn't look like it's happening. Like I wanted to have faith, but you guys been saying that for months now. State Department spokesperson Ned Price said the visit by Richardson, who has worked to free detained American citizens across the world, to Russia was not coordinated with the U.S. government. Our concern is that private citizens attempting to broker a deal do not and cannot speak for the U.S. government, and we have urged private citizens not to travel to Russia, owing to the dangers that they would face. Price added that holding talks with Russia outside the designated diplomatic channels may hinder the push to free Griner and Whelan. Whatever brings them the fuck back, I'm losing faith in the State Department's efforts. Meanwhile, over at the Justice Department, they have charged three Iranians, I believe.
Three Iranian nationals are charged with hacking into hundreds of computers here in the U.S. and around the world. The Justice Department says they stole data and demanded payment in exchange. That scheme targeted various organizations, including a domestic violence shelter. NBC News correspondent Corey Coffin joins us now with more on this. So, Corey, walk us through what we know about these hackers and the victims they targeted.
Yeah, Aaron, justice officials say the scheme targeted hundreds of corporate and government victims around the world. The Department of Justice today unsealing the August indictment of three Iranian nationals who officials say are behind the international ransomware conspiracy. Now, these hackers allegedly carried out the scheme for their own personal gain, not at the behest of the Iranian government. They allegedly defrauded a broad spectrum of organizations, including electric power utilities in Mississippi and Indiana, a public housing authority in Washington state, and even a domestic violence shelter in Pennsylvania. FBI Director Chris Wray released a video statement on the charges today. Here's more of what he had to say.
Today's announcement is just the tip of the iceberg. If you try to disrupt...
Never ever believe a man when he says he's just going to put in the tip.
...to the way Americans live their daily lives,
you live in
you're going to be facing
sexual
the
anarchy.
full force of the U.S. government and its allies, and we will do everything in our power to bring you to justice.
A DOJ official said they believe the number of victims in the U.S. alone reached well into the hundreds, Aaron.
So, Corey, what do we know about where these three hackers are at this point?
That's the rub. Right now, they're believed to be in Iran, and according to Justice Department officials, the chances of them being extradited to the U.S. are slim unless they travel to a country that has an agreement with the United States regarding extradition. Aaron.
The FBI will be watching for sure. Corey Coffin with us today. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Thanks for watching our...
Ah, shut up, Lester. Nobody asked you. The collapse of the Iran deal was entirely avoidable. I read from Jacobin. The death of the Iran deal was entirely avoidable. The Iran deal could have easily been maintained had it not been for a series of perverse policy choices by both Trump and Biden. Now the deal scrapped. Israel and the U.S. are once again threatening to attack Iran. After a seemingly never-ending will they, won't they? So that's a weird way to describe diplomacy. Countries live in sexual anarchy.
You live in sexual anarchy.
After a seemingly never-ending will they, won't they on the U.S.-Iranian revival of the Iran nuclear deal, we seem to have an answer. They won't. As of today, officials from the United States, Europe, and Israel all say the deal, also known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, is dead, at least for the foreseeable future. Re-entering the deal was a major campaign promise of Joe Biden's. It was something he didn't need Congress to do, and it would have meant restoring one of the signature achievements of his Democratic predecessor, whose accomplishments Biden virtually treated as his own on the campaign trail. So how did it fail? Dustin, good evening. Hopes for renewing the agreement were at first raised after Tehran in August dropped its opposition to what seemed like the last sticking point in U.S.-Iranian talks, namely the Iranian Revolutionary Guard's core terrorist designation that had been a poison pill deliberately issued by Donald Trump to complicate the deal's revival, making Iran's compromise on the matter significant. But since then, new roadblocks arose. On the Iranian side, its hardline government demanded extra guarantees to minimize the effects of a future U.S. administration violating and pulling out of the agreement, which Trump had done in 2018. Also made ending the International Atomic Energy Agency's probe into old nuclear traces found at undeclared Iran sites a precondition of re-entry, evidence that could embarrass Tehran by indicating its nuclear ambitions weren't purely for civilian energy needs as it claimed for decades. For their part, Washington and EU governments have squarely blamed Iran, calling its last negotiation response not at all encouraging and a step backwards, charging they have serious doubts about its sincerity in rejoining. But the other side of the story is an Israeli campaign to sabotage the deal. Both the hard-right former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett and current more centrist Prime Minister Yair Lapid have privately and publicly urged Biden and other U.S. officials to scrap the deal all of this year. Lapid, who is up for re-election in November, has been particularly strident, lobbying European governments and demanding a credible military threat against Iran, most recently claiming credit for swaying Washington on the matter. He's been joined in his efforts by David Barnea, the head of the Mossad, Israel's spy agency. I want to finish reading this article. Boom, there's a link to Jacobin piece. Oh, I forgot all about wonton killing. I can't wait to get to that. But first, the Swedish Prime Minister has resigned as of just a few hours ago. Sweden's Prime Minister resigns as full vote tally confirms her defeat. The Social Democratic leader says will step down early on Thursday. Election authorities set to confirm victory by opposition bloc. The Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson conceded defeat and announced she will resign as a surge in support for a nationalist party helped the right-wing opposition win one of the closest elections ever held in the largest Nordic country. Anderson, who became the nation's first female prime minister last year, told reporters in Stockholm that she will submit her resignation early on Thursday. The announcement came as the country's election authority was about to release the full vote count from Sunday's election. Gains by the anti-immigrant Sweden Democrats played the key role in the narrow victory of the opposition bloc, led by moderate party leader Ulf Kristersson. Over the incumbent in a loose coalition supporting her Social Democrats. The party lady? If Ulf Kristersson's alternative doesn't hold, I'm ready to lead, Anderson said, adding that she has no plans to step down as leader of the Social Democrats. Sweden will be only 1 or 2 votes away from a government crisis, she said. Wasn't she like a model or something, or is the president of Finland? Her pictures go around on social media quite often. Where's RB at? I'm sure he's got thoughts on this. Oh shit. Move back to the U.S. We're in New Hampshire, a far-right nut job won in the GOP Senate primary. Don Bolduc. This is him. I've got another picture of him. I had him on the thumbnail. Let me take a look at this guy. I hate to make fun of somebody's looks, but come on. This is the GOP's idea of a manly man. Don Bolduc, a retired Army general and 2020 election denier, has captured the Republican nomination for Senate in New Hampshire, according to the Associated Press. The race was called midday on Wednesday as Mr. Bolduc held a lead of more than 1,500 votes over Chuck Morse, the president of the state Senate. Mr. Morse was endorsed by Governor Chris Sununu and helped by $4.5 million from the National Republicans, who were worried that a victory by Mr. Bolduc would forfeit what they saw as a winnable seat in the quest for Senate control this fall. So this is another race that wasn't on my radar that now the Republicans may once again fall flat on their face and not win. Congratulations, GOP, you played yourself. Mr. Bolduc's victory will come as a relief to Democrats who also assume he will be the weaker opponent against Senator Maggie Hassan, a first-term Democrat. She won in 2016 by about 1,000 votes in purple New Hampshire, but has been saddled with low job approval numbers. 4 states, New Hampshire, Arizona, Georgia, and Nevada, have vulnerable Democratic senators. The party is aggressively defending to keep its hold on the Senate. I don't think Mark Kelly's in any danger in Arizona. Polling is showing Warnock and Walker neck and neck right now, but I don't know how. I don't, like, how many dumb things can Herschel Walker do? Delaware and Rhode Island also held primaries on Tuesday, the final date of major primary elections this year, just 8 weeks before the general election. I'm sorry, I didn't even put on the election graphics for you guys. In Rhode Island, Democrats chose Seth Magaziner, the state treasurer, to run for an open house seat that is viewed as a toss-up in November. Delaware's biggest race was for state auditor. It was New Hampshire that held the focus nationally besides Mr. Bolduc. Republicans in the state also chose a hard-right nominee for the House, Caroline Leavitt, a former staff member in Donald J. Trump's White House press office, who echoed the former president's inflammatory language and provocations. He beat Matt Mowers, who had the backing of House Republican leaders and will face Representative Chris Pappas, a 2-term Democrat. Warnock is such a good candidate, though. I just don't know how Georgia can reject him, especially in favor of Herschel Walker, who is so clearly inept. But you know, we were counting on this ground game that Stacey Abrams had, turning people out, and it's not materializing in the polling, but maybe it surprises people on election day, I hope. Because, I mean, she came within a hair of winning Georgia in 2018. Moving over to the Senate, where tonight Bernie Sanders once again doing the people's work. Bernie Sanders blocks Republican bid to avert a rail strike in the Senate. Vermont senator objects to vote to force union rail deal. Congress is pressured to act ahead of Friday strike deadline. Senate Republicans failed in a bid to force labor unions and railroads to resolve a fight over contract negotiations ahead of a strike that threatens to paralyze much of the U.S. rail system. I want to talk about supply chain issues. Republican Richard Burr sought unanimous consent for a resolution that would force the two sides to accept the recommendations of a presidential emergency board established by Joe Biden. That would require agreement from all senators, and Bernie Sanders, the independent from Vermont, objected, arguing that freight rail workers need better sick leave. Less than 48 hours at 12:01 on Friday morning, the likelihood is without action by Congress, there will be a strike and rail traffic will stop. The legislative attempt underscores the rising urgency among policymakers to prevent as many as 125,000 workers from walking off of the job if an agreement isn't reached by the Friday deadline. The Biden administration has been working to avoid a strike that threatens supply chains and is estimated to cost more than $2 billion a day. The so-called Presidential Emergency Board issued recommendations last month to resolve the dispute, including wage increases and improved health coverage, but the proposal left out terms wanted by the unions. Talk about the impact of the strike if it does happen. From car makers to refiners, industries brace for a rail strike. Car buyers might not be able to get the vehicle they want on time. Commuter rail lines could see service disrupted, and shipments from everything from oil to livestock feed could be snarled. Those are just a few of the wide-ranging impacts a walkout by U.S. rail workers would have on the country's industries and economy. Strike could happen if the railroads and unions can't settle their differences before an early Friday walkout deadline. In the auto industry, nearly all new vehicles that travel more than a couple hundred miles from the factory to their destination are shipped by rail. Automakers might be hampered in building vehicles too because some larger parts and raw materials are transported by rail. Commuting. Metra Commuter Rail Service, which operates in the Chicago area, said Wednesday that it would suspend operations on 4 of its 11 lines on Friday if a work stoppage occurs. Some disruption on those lines would begin after rush hour on Thursday night. In Minnesota, the operators of a commuter rail line that carries workers along a densely populated corridor from Minneapolis to northwestern suburbs and towns warned that service could be suspended as early as Friday. In the Puget Sound region of Washington state, any strike would cancel the rail service until employees return to work, according to David Jackson, a spokesman for the Regional Transit Agency. Some Caltrain riders in the San Francisco Bay Area could be impacted by the rail strike. The Maryland Transit Administration warned this week that a strike would mean the immediate suspension of service on 2 of its 3 MARC commuter rail lines. Amtrak, meanwhile, said that starting on Thursday, all of its long-distance trains are canceled to avoid possible passenger disruptions while en route. The energy sector, a strike could have a significant impact on the energy industry and could hurt consumers who would likely end up paying more for gasoline, electricity, and natural gas. Refineries might have to halt production if they can't get the deliveries they need, or if they don't have access to rail to ship gasoline. No one wants to risk leaving flammable chemicals stranded on the railroad tracks if a strike occurs. That's why railroads began curtailing shipments of hazardous materials on Monday to protect that dangerous cargo. Roughly 300,000 barrels of crude oil move by rail each day, which could supply about 2 mid-sized refineries, according to the AFPM. About 5 million barrels of propane, representing a third of the U.S. consumption, are moved by rail monthly. Roughly 70% of ethanol produced in the U.S. is shipped by rail. Nearly 75% of the coal moved to electric utilities in the first half of 2022 was moved by rail. Agriculture, livestock producers could see problems almost immediately if shipments of feed abruptly ended, according to the National Grain and Feed Association. Meat and poultry groups noted the reliance on rail for shipments of feed and called for a quick resolution of the rail dispute. Retail. Experts say retailers have been shipping goods earlier in the season in recent months as a way to protect themselves from potential disruptions. But this buffer will only slightly minimize the impact from a railroad strike, which is brewing during the critical holiday shipping season. Inflation this month. Inflation for last month. We just got the numbers this month. Inflation for August remains stubbornly high, according to the New York Times. Price increases remained uncomfortably rapid in August as a broad array of goods and services became more expensive even as gas prices fell, Evidence that the sustainable inflation slowdown the Federal Reserve and White House have been hoping for remains elusive. Prices rose 8.3% from a year earlier. A fresh consumer price index report released on Tuesday showed, while slightly better than July's 8.5%, the rate was not as much of a moderation as economists had expected, as rent costs, restaurant meals, and medical care became more expensive. Compounding the bad news, a core measure of inflation that strips out gas and food to get a sense of underlying price trends accelerated more than forecast. Stocks plummeted on Tuesday, with the S&P 500 falling 4.3%, its biggest drop since the depths of the pandemic in 2020. But as somebody pointed out, that just wiped it back down to where it was like last Wednesday. But for all the doomers that were bitching about the stock market, congrats. It's back up today. Stonks rebound after worst day since 2020. U.S. stocks finished higher on Wednesday after an indecisive trading session that saw the major averages spend time on both sides of the flat line throughout the day. Closing bell rang on Wall Street, the S&P 500 was up 0.3% and the Dow up 0.1%. This more muted action followed Tuesday's wipeout, which saw the Nasdaq fall more than 5% during the stock market's worst day since June of 2020. Tuesday's drop came after hotter than expected inflation data for August likely clinched another 0.75% rate hike from the Fed. More bonk, less stonk. Curiouser, welcome. I love your face. I think I just heard her giggle out there in the hallway. Oh, shit. Not only are we facing a rail strike that could bring the economy to its knees, we're facing a government shutdown. And Bernie Sanders is all for it if he doesn't get his way. Mox, I almost went and got a Jim Cramer video for this. I went and looked on CNBC's page and I didn't see anything that really, I wasn't seeing anybody fucking losing their fucking minds. But as I always say, just do the opposite of whatever Jim Cramer says and you're good to go. Bernie Sanders says he'll vote against keeping the government open if Manchin's disastrous side deal on energy is included. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont said on last Thursday that he'd oppose a short-term government funding bill if Democratic leaders attach legislation meant to ease construction of crude oil pipelines and other energy infrastructure. Bernie again fighting for the people. I will not vote for any bill that makes it easier for big oil to destroy the planet, and that includes approving the Mountain Valley Pipeline. And Curiouser, I know you love Bernie, so let's hear from him, shall we? Here's his thoughts on the Manchin pipeline attached to the energy bill.
I don't have to tell anybody that the world is on fire.
As temperatures soar 20 degrees above average, more than 100 daily records will be set after one of the worst heat waves in Western history.
Climate change right now is causing devastating harm all over the world.
In Pakistan, the government says floods across the country have now killed more than 1,300 people.
In the western part of our country, we're looking at a major water shortage, drought.
California faces an all-time high for electricity demand.
Pakistan, flooding.
1/3 of Pakistan is engulfed by historical flooding. Hundreds of towns and villages in the province of Sindh still remain underwater.
And on and on.
I have probably talked about Pakistan more than any of the major news networks have, and I still don't think I've given it enough coverage for just the devastation that happened. I don't think I have properly articulated how bad Pakistan is right now.
on a coast.
A warming atmosphere is creating serious problems in the Arctic Circle and on the continent of Antarctica.
And in the midst of all of this, what do you think the United States Congress is now talking about? We're talking about a side agreement made with Senator Manchin, which would increase fossil fuel production, including a major pipeline through West Virginia and Virginia, which will have emissions the equivalent of 27 million cars.
Tonight, the deadly double threat scorching California, a still out-of-control wildfire in the northern end of the state, and an unrelenting heat wave.
A key ice shelf that sits in front of the Thwaites Glacier could break up much sooner than expected, within 5 years.
The fuse has been blown and the doom.
They are saying it is hanging on by its fingernails if glaciers had fingernails. And like, it's a devastating thing if that thing gives way.
Doomsday Glacier is coming for us all.
How insane is that? So my view is that legislation, if they want to bring it up, let's vote on it. Don't put it into a...
As I understand it, several island nations disappear when that glacier breaks away. Just wiped off the fucking map.
5 years.
The fuse has been blown and the Doomsday Glacier is coming for us all.
How insane is that? So my view is that legislation, if they want to bring it up, let's vote on it. Don't put it into a must-pass bill like the continuing resolution. That is outrageous.
In the small town of Weed, 2 were killed as this explosive blaze, fueled in part by high...
In the small town of Weed. You want to come in here and smoke a bong with me? In the small town of Weed.
hot weather tore across roughly 100 homes.
Village after village underwater, only the tops of trees and buildings visible. People who are still here are completely surrounded, living as castaways in their own
She's like, did somebody say smoke a bong?
Diseases are now spreading. Survivors are also facing a lack of resources and food.
So let's go forward together. Let's work with the environmental groups. Let's work with community organizations. And let's tell the world that the future of this planet is more important than the short-term profits.
Tell him, Bernie.
No air conditioning?
I don't have one. Too much money.
Too much money.
So we might be able to bring the government to a halt. We might be able to bring the economy to a halt. Bernie's leading the way on both. I'm sorry, there's a hair on my bong. It happens from time to time. When we come back on the other side of the break, Mike Lindell is going to tell us all about getting his phone confiscated by the FBI while he was at a Hardee's. I want to know what the chat thinks Mike Lindell's order is from Hardee's. What was Mike Lindell getting from the Hardee's when he had his phone confiscated by the feds? DOJ has argued that delaying their evaluation of the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago would cause irreparable harm to national security. We're going to talk about the trouble Rudy Giuliani and Jeff Clark are in. Dan Bongino is going to tell us that Trump has a ace in the hole. No need to worry about the deep state coming for him. Oh! I didn't get a billboard this earlier because I forgot all about it, but you got to hear this. You got to hear this. Lauren Boebert, reading from the Bible, going to tell us about wonton killing. Wonton killing on the other side of the break here on the Troll Patrol. Live.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
Hi, I'm Justin FREAKIN. I'm a leftist broadcaster and comedian, not liberal, leftist. And despite what you may have heard from right-wing propaganda, George Soros isn't handing out Soros bucks and funding people like me. There are no Koch brothers, Mercers, or any number of right-wing think tanks funding content on the left side of the spectrum the way they fund people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager. And YouTube doesn't monetize videos that are controversial or deal with politics unless you're someone like Steven Crowder. So this is an ultimatum. Become a patron. Support my Patreon, or I'm going to become a right-winger and get some of that easy money. You know for a fact that I could be bigger than Charlie Kirk or Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing!
All I have to do is talk about how I used to be an SJW snowflake, but the left went too far with their cultural Marxism, and Republicans are stupid enough to buy it, even though this video exists. And you know I'm right, so give me your money or I'm selling you out. I know, I said I was done with the Queen memes. J.K. Rowling furious to hear monarchy has transitioned to a man. Oh shit, RB, I'm sorry to hear that you were without power. That sucks. Foxy boy. Sox came in here when I walked out. Now he's wanting back out. He's wanting to go hang out with the rest of the crew. He doesn't want to hang out with me and Smokey. Kind of hang out in here. He goes, he socializes with the other cats, I guess. You social, buddy, or you just wanting to go be a Kevin on him? Hold on, let me let Sox out. Say hi to everybody. He's probably not upset about being in here. He's more upset like the door is closed. Why do you have the door closed? I want to be able to come and go as I please. He's probably standing outside of it right now like, why'd you close the door? He is. Just leave it cracked, I guess. If you can stand listening to me. Though the light is a little annoying in here in my cave. Why you gotta be difficult, Socks? You didn't have to turn it off. I was probably gonna shut the door back. Can't make up his mind. Fucking cats, man. Now he's back in here and he's having him a little bite to eat. Now he's leaving again. That's what it was. He wanted to be able to come and go as he pleases. It wasn't that he was upset that he was in here. It was that the door was closed. Fucking cats. She's got quilts in there like in front of a mirror. And it's like the perfect height for him to be able to jump up on and shit. Like he fucking loves laying there. That's his spot in there in the living room. Charles can't even work a fucking pen. I'm done with it. I think there is one Queen story on the Oh yeah, the professor that said she hoped that the Queen died excruciating pain. She says her job is safe. Because where are the free speech advocates on that one? Let's see where the right wing lands on that one. Are they coming out and did Barry Weiss take her side? Did Brett and Heather? Just wants his options open, exactly. No, he's not here right now. Is Jordan Peterson on a crusade for this professor that hoped that the Queen died in excruciating pain, or are they taking her side? All the free speech advocates I always see. You know, I don't think I got the phone lines open. There could have been a right-winger trying to call in all this time. We could have missed out on it. It would be horrible. Nobody's called, unfortunately. Phone lines are now open if anybody wants to call in. You don't see right-wingers doing that. And I promise, no matter how big the channel gets, I will always take call-ins. Not like all the time. Like if it gets overwhelming, you know, we'll have to do like segments. Hour of call-ins or whatever. We do 2 hours of news and then I open up the phone lines in the Discord and just argue with people the rest of the time. That's probably what'll happen. That sounds like fun. We'll talk about Mike Lindell. What was Mike Lindell's order at the Hardee's? What did Mike Lindell get from Hardee's? Or Carl's Jr. if you're on that side of the country. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell has phone seized by FBI at fast food outlet. Prominent proponent of Donald Trump's stolen election lies says he was questioned about Colorado electoral official Tina Peters. Mike Lindell, the pillow salesman who became an enthusiastic mouthpiece for Donald Trump's lie.
I was on crack.
Right.
For Donald Trump's lie about a stolen election, has said he was forced to hand his phone to FBI agents who surrounded him at a fast food drive-thru. The incident happened on Tuesday as Lindell, chief executive of MyPillow, was in line at a branch of Hardee's in Mankato. What is that close to where Prince was at? Mankato, Minnesota, his hometown, following a hunting trip. Cars pulled up in front of us, to the side of us, and behind us. And I said, those are either bad guys or the FBI. The conspiracy theorist said on his internet show. Let's, I don't think this was from fucking an internet show. I think he was just talking into a Facebook Live or something. But who knows? He's probably given a million statements since this happened.
The FBI, you're going to hear this, and you're probably already hearing it in the news. The FBI came after me and took my phone. They surrounded me at a Hardee's and took my phone. I run all my business, everything. They could have just, what they've done is weaponize the FBI. It's disgusting. I don't have a computer. Everything I do have that phone, everything was on there, and they told me not.
He doesn't have a computer. Everything was on his phone. This dude is fucked. Can you imagine what they've got on his phone? Show of hands, who thinks Mike Lindell is going to jail? You fucked, dude. You fucked.
Everything was on there, and they told me not to tell anybody. Here's an order, don't tell anybody. Okay, I won't. Well, I am. So, there you go. Today, the FBI.
I don't think that's an order that you can't tell anybody. There might be a gag order in the case by a judge. That's possible. I think you'd have to have charges against you first. Mar-a-Lago documents, Trump delaying tactics causing irreparable harm, according to the DOJ. Donald Trump's lawyers are causing irreparable harm to the government and public by delaying the investigation into his hoarding of highly classified documents at his Florida mansion, the U.S. Department of Justice said. The claim came in a strongly worded court filing urging a district judge, Aileen Cannon, to reconsider her ruling last week, granting Trump's request for an independent special master in the case. The Department of Justice argued that the order stops it from continuing its review of thousands of documents, some reportedly containing details of a foreign power's nuclear secrets seized during an FBI search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach last month. Agents discovered the papers in a basement storage area and a desk drawer, despite assurances from Trump's lawyers that all documents he took with him after leaving the White House in January of 2021 had been returned to the National Archives. Markings on the documents signify that their unauthorized disclosure reasonably could be expected to result in damage to the national security, including exceptionally grave damage. Tuesday's Justice Department filing said, adding that a delay would cause irreparable harm. Plaintiff has characterized the government's criminal investigation as a document storage dispute or an overdue library book scenario. In doing so, plaintiff has not addressed the potential harms that could result from mishandling classified information or the strict requirements imposed by law for handling such materials. Cannon, a Trump appointee to the federal bench, has been widely criticized for the special master ruling, which some have argued placed Trump above the law. She has given no indication if or when she will reconsider the order. Trump's lawyers have urged Cannon to leave the order in place, claiming without evidence that the former president declassified the documents before he left office, though it looked like in a court filing they disputed that. Once again, Socks is laying right here next to me because he just goes back and forth. The Justice Department rejects that argument, insisting that even if Trump had taken such an action, which it notes has not been asserted in any of Trump's legal filings or sworn declarations, the papers still belong to the government and are not his personal property. Also on Tuesday, another judge unsealed additional portions of an FBI affidavit laying out the basis for the search of Mar-a-Lago, showing that agents earlier obtained a hard drive after issuing a subpoena for surveillance footage recorded inside of Mar-a-Lago. So they went back to before their initial request for their documents back. It really seems like Trump, like Lindell, like Giuliani, like all his cronies are fucked. Like Bannon. But, old Dan Bongino says Trump has an ace in the hole to play against the deep state. Maybe Trump has a Trump card. Oh, shit.
For 3 arguments. I'm just going to put the first one out there. The first one is basically if she doesn't reconsider the special magistrate thing, the DOJ will prevail in its appeal anyway. That's kind of cocky, right, Joe? Do what we say. We're going to win anyway. They say because no court could possibly conclude that Trump owns the 100 classified records, has a right to have them back, or has any attorney-client or executive privilege claims that would prevent prosecutors from using them in their criminal investigation. Wait, let me read that one part again. No court could possibly conclude Trump owns the records? Now, I know you all are already I know where you're going with this, because the court has already concluded that presidents own their records. Just weird how this is left out. I guarantee you, your liberal friends have no idea.
That's not what she ruled on, though.
Precedent on this exact matter of presidents' personal records. I'm going to put it out there again because, again, neither Playbook nor anyone on the left is acknowledging that there's already been a 2012 federal court decision, which was never appealed by the DOJ, which says the exact opposite of what the DOJ laid out in that Playbook piece. This is in the newsletter again. This is like the third.
What's it say, Dan?
It's from August 17, 2022. Just the news. Old case over audio tapes in Bill Clinton's sock drawer could impact the Mar-a-Lago search dispute. I'm going to read this again. Federal Judge Amy Berman Jackson, no Trump acolyte, by the way, wrote in her March 2012 decision when Bill Clinton's personal records were involved in a lawsuit that under the Presidential Records Act, the decision to segregate personal materials from presidential records is made by the president during the president's term and in his sole discretion.
Just the news fails a media bias fact check. They call it questionable with conspiracy theories, propaganda, numerous failed fact checks. Their bias rating is far right. Factual reporting is mixed. Low credibility. But and the video from the article is Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch. Just not a reputable organization, but I want to hear what he has to say.
Things you did in the past come back up and they're relevant to the current debate. And I want to have a little fun today because there is a direct dotted line between Bill Clinton's sock drawer and the raid on Melania's closet at Mar-a-Lago. And I want to walk through that today. It's an amazing thing that your team did. But walk us through the importance of the case where you found the audio tapes that Bill Clinton had kept in his sock drawer of his conversations as president with a historian. An amazing case.
Yeah, I don't even remember how we found out about it. Maybe there was a news story about it. And there was Taylor Branch had done a book on Clinton, you may recall. And he recorded some of his conversations with him for the book. And Clinton kept copies of, I think it was more than one tape. But the tapes included at least his half of the conversation with foreign leaders, members of Congress, and other government officials. So we saw that and we said, hey, what about the Presidential Records Act? Aren't these in the library? Because we have been litigating against the library for probably 15 years at that point.
So the reason why she ruled against it was she said that she didn't have the legal authority to do something that the presidential records, like the National Archives, hadn't asserted. Like they hadn't asserted that they wanted these tapes. So yeah, like, court has serious doubts about whether the former president's retention of the audio tapes is a matter that is subject to judicial review. But the court need not decide the question because whether judicial review is available or not, the relief that plaintiff seeks that the archivist assume custody and control of the audio tapes is not available under the Presidential Records Act. This doesn't even apply to what they're talking about. Sorry, Bongino.
How many times do I have to read this? Sole discretion. I don't care if it's Bill Barr. I don't care if it's Playbook. I don't care what legal talking head or judge you see on CNN telling you otherwise. Just bring this up to them. This is a settled matter. The president has no right to this material. Playbook said so. They don't, then how come Judge Jackson said different in 2012 and it was never appealed by the...
That's his personal effects, not classified information that needs to be controlled and handled in a specific environment, you dumb fuck.
The DOJ, isn't that weird? She also noted that the president's completely weird, right, Joe? Is completely entrusted with the management and disposal of records during his time in office. Let me read that again. Completely entrusted with the management.
His records. His personal records.
Anyone telling you that this is a settled matter, there's no precedent for this, there's no court decision.
Bongino's an idiot.
Giving you the double-barreled family friendly and treating you like an idiot. Just read the decision.
You're an idiot.
It's right there. It's sitting there right in front of you. So frustrating.
Buddy, you want to talk about frustrating? You couldn't be more wrong. And you are absolutely convinced that you are correct. Fucking moron. And you're up here just like you're one of the most shared people on Facebook and you're just so blatantly wrong. And then people come to me and they quote you. And I'm like, no, this fucking dude's an idiot. He doesn't this way. Yeah, this Bongino is a fucking idiot. Don't listen to what this dude has to say. That's just absurd. It's frustrating for him.
Self-praise stinks, so forgive me. It's not an attempt at that. I just adore my audience. And I'm very proud that if you listen to this show, you are weeks, if not months, ahead of stupid liberal arguments not based in any fact and based exclusively on opinion. That's all it is. They don't base anything on, my opinion's Orange Man bad. Are you okay? Great. Well, what's the legal basis for what you're saying? I don't really have any. That was a clip from the Dan Bongino Show. Please check out rumble.
That was a clip from the bullshit show fucking with bullshit artist on Gino. I did a horrible job. I'm sorry. I apologize. Bad joke. Bad joke. Just, I'm frustrated.
You think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Legal discipline cases against Rudy Giuliani, Jeff Clark advance. Legal ethics prosecutions against Rudy Giuliani and Jeffrey Clark are progressing along with state, federal, and congressional probes exploring the role that they and others played in aiding Donald Trump's effort to undo the 2020 election. The D.C. Bar's Office of Disciplinary Counsel filed separate cases over the summer alleging that Giuliani and Clark, both members of the local bar, violated rules that govern the conduct of licensed attorneys. Oh my God. Bongino is like, what's the legal basis? Meanwhile, all of Trump's attorneys are just getting crucified. Clark, a former Justice Department official under Trump, responded earlier this month to charges which accuse him of dishonesty and making false statements. Clark's lawyers argue that he did nothing wrong or were unlawful. They say the D.C. Bar's regulators lack jurisdiction to prosecute him over advice he gave to a sitting president, that the case improperly delved into executive branch discussions, and that Clark was being targeted for his political affiliation as a Republican. Oh my God. These people. I get a lot of what do you mean by you people on Facebook, and I'm always like, idiots. Idiots. That's what I mean by you people. Idiots. New video shows Trump's pick to run Arizona elections, accusing Mike Pence of a coup. Accusing Mike Pence of a coup. Let me say that again. Like, I'm not misreading this, right? Like, my eyes don't betray me. I've been accused of my vision's getting bad in my older age. New video shows Trump's pick to run Arizona elections, accusing Mike Pence of a coup. That's what we're getting ready to hear right now. So, buckle up, buckaroos. This one's going to be wild.
Seized power over an existing president. He was not president. Donald Trump was still president at that moment. Liz Cheney just outed him. And I think in doing so reveals that she was complicit. Pence had no authority to order the DOD, DHS, or DOJ around. Zero zip nada. How long has he been ordering those folks around? Well, apparently from January 6th to January 20th. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a coup. He had no authority to do so. He was behind the spying. It's now believed that he was behind the spying on the Trump campaign since July.
He's accusing Mike Pence of being in charge from January 6th to January 20th and calling that a coup. He's wearing a shirt that says "Prove It." He has on a cowboy hat. Just for those of you listening to the podcast, so you get your real idea of what's going on here.
2016, when Reince Priebus and Paul Ryan foisted Pence into the VP position to represent the interests of the establishment. You go back. There is no memorialization, no document that has been served in Congress that has been recorded that the Vice President and a majority of the officers of that cabinet removed President Trump from office. It was simply taken upon themselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be the jury here.
Sir, I think what you're actually talking about is the fact that Trump just kind of retreated and didn't want to show his face in public. He got a little boo-boo. He got a little boo-boo, and after everybody was all mad at him, I think that's what happened between January 6th and January 20th, to be honest with you. And then I do believe he slunk out on the morning of January 20th, as I understand it. Sharpie Diesel, good evening. Welcome. This is a candidate for the Secretary of State in Arizona. This is the GOP candidate for Secretary of State in Arizona. Backed by Trump. If you're unaware of what the Secretary of State does in Arizona, they run the elections. Love your face, Sharpie Diesel. Lurk away. Lurk away. I got no problem with lurking. I'm a lurker. I don't talk much in people's chat. Except Echoplex. If I'm there, I'm probably fucking running my mouth. But like I'll come in, you'll see me come in, I'll use the troll heads, I might talk, I'll talk to the person, the streamer, and then I lurk. I lurk. Oh, we've still got some lurking to do on this guy.
Do you now see why Pence is endorsing who he's endorsing recently? Let's think about this for a minute. Let's even this out. He's endorsed Karen Taylor Robinson as governor in the state of Arizona. Oh, it gets better. That's 11 electoral votes that might go for Pence in 2024. What about Brian Kemp in Georgia? 16 electoral votes is on the line for Pence. And hours ago, apparently, Rebecca Kleefisch in Wisconsin was endorsed. That's 10 more electoral college votes.
I believe he's saying these are all rhinos.
With full new support. By the way, Paul Ryan is on the board of Fox. Yeah. And then have his people placed to steal 2024. Could it be that this is to cover up the coup that happened in the first place? Especially since the RNC committee is going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen.
None of this makes sense.
Okay, it's the individuals who betrayed a president at the very moment that they should have stood beside him.
There you go. That's your candidate, Arizona Secretary of State. Meanwhile, we have this dude who's a QAnon candidate in Ohio. I said Oklahoma earlier. This guy is a QAnon candidate in Ohio. He was confronted by a reporter. Let's hear how this goes.
Two more questions, if you'll allow me real quick. There's been a lot of reporting from various Democratic media organizations and also regular news organizations that you in the past have on social media supported the QAnon conspiracy. Mm-hmm. I know you've been asked about it before. You said you've had no association with it, you don't support it. For voters who may see those reports and they see the hashtags that you use, times that you wore a shirt with a Q on it, mm-hmm. and they say, well, how is that not supportive?
I would say that I have very rarely ever gotten a question about that. The only time I get a question about that, it's from the mainstream media. what I would call
What?
Voters in Ohio's 9th District don't care about QAnon. They don't care about January 6th. They care about high gas prices. They care about concerns of whether or not they're going to be able to, heat their
Wow,
homes.
what a pivot.
They care about what the Biden administration has done with our military troops in Afghanistan. They care about the fact that Marcy Kaptur votes consistently with her party and against the constituents. And, since I haven't had that question, I don't feel compelled, that it's relevant. I mean, to be honest with you, what I did as a
Wait. His argument is that since no one's ever asked him that question before, I don't feel compelled to answer that question now. That Majewski. It looks like his name is Majewski.
Private citizen has absolutely no bearing. I've already given multiple answers on, the fact that I don't support QAnon. I've never been to their forum. I know there was a podcast I was on, which they picked the screen up, but I don't.
There's a podcast he was on, probably about QAnon. So he was a January 6th participant as well. Tweeted out this shit. Tucker Carlson. Oh, he was on Tucker Carlson. Let's hear him on Tucker Carlson.
Tell us why this is a concern of yours and of the people you hope to represent.
Well, Tucker, I can tell you that we've been infested by fentanyl here. Toledo, Ohio, for example, and Ohio, the state itself, we've become one of the largest states with respect to overdoses. Our children are dying on the streets, and the Democratic Party is just...
Have you been to Ohio? Have you been to Ohio, sir? Have you been to Ohio? It'll make you want to kill you. That'll terms of service, won't it? I can't say that.
Exist, and my opponent has been perpetuating these issues year over year and watching this happen. It's just terrible.
So thank you for saying that. Bless you for saying that. That is the whole point. Americans are dying because of this.
Bless you.
More time. Really
Bless
quick,
you.
Who is your opponent? Just so people at home can look this up.
Marcy Kaptur, 40-year Democratic incumbent.
And Marcy Kaptur, she should be ashamed. She really should be. R.J. Majewski running from Ohio for the United States Congress. We are rooting.
What should she be ashamed about? What should she be ashamed about? These people are funny. We have a lot of fun making fun of the right wingers around here. And here's the thing, okay? So on Saturday night, I was on Egoplex Media. We watched the My Son Hunter movie. But after that, we watched Lauren Boebert's debate. Because she is up for re-election in the House of Representatives in Colorado. And I gave her a lot of credit. She actually she came out and started acting like batshit crazy, exactly like you would expect her to. And then she was probably the more informed candidate throughout the debate. It was really weird. It was really fucking weird. She was informed on local issues and shit. Whereas the other, I forget what his name is, and I'm following him on Twitter, and I'll amplify him because I want to make sure that Lauren Boebert, doesn't return to Congress if that's possible. But he just kept returning to I am not Nancy Pelosi, because Boebert did say that a lot, but she also threw out numbers and knew about different local projects and shit. Now I don't know how she ended it. She probably ended the debate with a bang. But throughout it, I gave her a lot of credit because I was I'm done with this. Let's go whatever you have next. And I think we went to Freedom Fest. We heard from Candace Owens at Freedom Fest. But this was Lauren Boebert. Like, I guess this Sunday, she likes to get up and preach in front of her church. It's weird because the Bible says like women need to be in silence. But who am I? Like, you know, I've just read the fucking thing. Has she? Because it really seems like she has come across this term for the first time ever in her life, which is weird if she's like actually preaching a sermon and she's reading it for the first time.
And then all hell broke loose. Rampant, evil, grabbing and grasping, vicious backstabbing. They made life hell on earth with their envy, wanton killing. I don't know what a wanton killing is. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But it sounds interesting. All hell broke loose. Rampant, evil, grabbing and grasping, vicious backstabbing. They made...
That is what some people will do for some crab rangoons.
Life hell on earth with their envy, wanton killing. I don't know what a wanton killing is. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But it sounds interesting, and I don't think I want to be a part of it.
You don't like wontons? Fucking wontons are awesome, ma'am. I call them dumplings in your neck of the woods. Talk about Brett Favre. Warlord brought up that Brett Favre was innocent earlier, and I want to be like, you don't even know what sport Brett Favre plays. I don't have that sport over where you are. You don't know no shit about football. New texts show Brett Favre's alleged involvement in welfare scheme. Text messages from 2017 appear to show Brett Favre was helped in receiving funding from former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant as part of a bigger welfare fund scheme in what's been called the largest public fraud case in the state's history. The issue with Favre centers on the Hall of Fame quarterback's attempts to raise money for the construction of a new volleyball stadium at the University of Southern Mississippi, Favre's alma mater and the school where his daughter plays the sport. Favre sought Bryant's help in raising money, and Bryant reportedly turned to nonprofit founder Nancy New for assistance. Text messages obtained by Anna Wolf of Mississippi Today and entered Monday into the state's ongoing civil lawsuit over the scandal show Favre, Bryant, New, and former welfare agency director John Davis worked together to funnel at least $5 million of the state's welfare funds towards the building of the stadium. New has already pled guilty to 13 felony counts related to the fraud case in which nonprofit leaders misspent at least $77 million in money that was earmarked to aid those in need, according to Wolf. In the text, Favre reportedly asked New whether any money he'd received for the volleyball stadium can be tracked back to its source by the media. So he texted about doing the crime. Can anybody find out that we did the crime? Nope, nobody can find out we did the crime. Send. My God. Honestly, I didn't think Brett Favre was all that smart. Just look at this motherfucker. I bet he's dumb. Oh shit. He was helping the prosecution as part of her plea deal, so she's rolled over on Favre. Says she worked to help Favre at the instruction of Bryant. Messages also show that Favre reportedly received a separate $1.1 million welfare contract to promote the program, with Favre offering to record a few radio spots. Favre has not been charged with any criminal wrongdoing and has reportedly repaid the $1.1 million. He said that he didn't know the money he received came from welfare funds. Sox just ran in here and ran under the futon. Got you spooked, buddy. From one fraudster to another, let's move over to the Alex Drones Sandy Hook trial. Apparently it was a wild day. This is a new trial. This is a different one than the one that we were following a couple weeks ago. A couple months ago. I don't even know how long it's been now. Time is dilated.
Our senses were, I mean, that is like, it overwhelms your senses. I don't know. I don't know what I heard. I just know that what I saw, it overwhelms your senses. It's frigging horrible.
An FBI agent becoming overwhelmed with emotion when describing the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School. He's just one of several plaintiffs testifying in the second damages trial against conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
The plaintiffs accused Jones of making millions of dollars off his false Sandy Hook coverage at the time, and now a Connecticut jury will determine how much money he will have to pay to the victims. Justice correspondent Jamal Andrews joining us live now from Waterbury, Connecticut to explain what we can expect today in court. Morning, Jamal.
Good morning, Rob. You know, court begins today with what should be more emotional testimony from Carly Soto. Now, you may recognize her from this now famous picture.
Yes.
After the Newtown shooting. This picture made its way around the world in the weeks following what happened in Newtown, Connecticut, and she was only able to testify.
She is the, for those of you listening to the podcast, she is the brunette girl that could be like, you know, fucking any girl in any town, USA, and looks like, you know, you're just typical teenage brunette girl. She's clearly devastated. She's crying because of the massacre that took place. And there are, you know, other people that vaguely look like her in photos from every school shooting. And Alex Jones was like, see, this is a crisis actor. She popped up everywhere. She was here. She was here. She was at the FEMA camp I made up.
For about an hour about losing her sister Victoria Soto that day, but she gave harrowing testimony about the harassment that she faced in the weeks following what happened at Sandy Hook. Conspiracy theorists online scrutinized this picture in particular, claiming that her facial expressions and her body posture all showed that she was an actress and that she was faking her grief in this particular photo. She also talked about holding a 5K fundraiser and being confronted at that fundraiser to honor her sister's death by a conspiracy theorist, claiming that she was making it all up and that her sister did not, in fact, die on that day. Before Carly Soto took the stand, we also heard from Bill Aldenberg, who you played a bit of sound from earlier as an FBI agent, and he covers a lot of ground for the plaintiffs in this case for a few reasons. First, he was part of the FBI SWAT team that were first responders to this tragedy, and so he was able to speak to that carnage that he saw inside that elementary school firsthand. He also became a subject of that harassment himself. He said that conspiracy theorists online compared him and the father of Ben Wheeler, another student who was killed at Sandy Hook, saying they were the same person. And here's a bit of him talking about that harassment that him and Ben Wheeler's father received. Listen.
And people want to say this didn't happen? And then they want to get rich off of it? That's the worst part. Like, you know what? You can say whatever you want about me. I don't care. You just say whatever you want. I'm friggin' a big boy. I can take it. Then they want to make profits. They want to get millions and millions of dollars. They want to destroy people's lives. Their children got slaughtered. I saw it myself.
Now, this trial is expected to last 4 to 5 weeks, and while we haven't seen Alex Jones yet, he is expected to testify. As of right now, he is still broadcasting throughout this trial, and yesterday he called what's going on here in Connecticut a show trial. And asked for his followers and viewers to buy his products to help keep the InfoWars website afloat.
Justice correspondent Jamal Andrews.
He's a real bowl of chili flowing to him. Oh my God. Shameless. Fucking shameless. Move down to Florida. This is the Parkland trial. This is the sentencing phase. Apparently, a shouting match between the judge and attorney erupts after the defense abruptly rested their case. Apparently, nobody expected this to happen today.
Your Honor? Yes. At this time, the defense rests, other than putting in our records.
We're not playing chess. I mean, will you please take the jury back in?
Wait, what? She's pissed about that. I don't know exactly what happened. I hope we get an explanation on this. This is only deciding between whether he spends the rest of his life in prison or if he's put to death. That is all this trial is right now. And like, as I've expressed many times, I don't know. We know this little fucker did it. This is one of those cut and dry cases where I might be able to be convinced to be for the death penalty. In almost every case, I'm against capital punishment. This is one of those where like, you know he did it. But this is wild, whatever happened.
At this time, the defense rests, other than putting in our records.
We're not playing chess. I mean, will you please take the jury back in? Thank you. All right, go ahead and put in your records. 2B, Nicholas Cruz Henderson, episode 1 record. Let me just stop. State, are you going to have anything ready for today?
No. We're expecting, there was 80 witnesses. We're waiting for 40 more witnesses.
I just want to say, this is the most uncalled for, unprofessional way to try a case. You all knew about this, and even if you didn't make your decision till this morning, to have 22 people plus all of this staff and every attorney march into court, be waiting as if it's some kind of game. Now I have to send them home. The state's not ready. They're not going to have a witness ready. We have another day wasted. I honestly, I have never experienced a level of unprofessionalism in my career. It's unbelievable.
If it's public defenders, I feel really bad for them. But if it's private attorneys, then like they deserve this tongue lashing.
So, Judge, you asked. I want to hear it.
Wait, what? Ah, shit.
For the record, would
motherfucker.
Your Honor?
Yes.
At this time, the defense rests, other than putting in our records.
We're not playing chess. I mean, will you please take the jury back in? Thank you. All right, go ahead and put in your records. 2B, Nicholas Cruz Henderson, episode 1 record. Let me just stop. State, are you going to have anything ready for today?
No. We're expecting, there was 80 witnesses. We're waiting for 40 more witnesses.
I just want to say, this is the most uncalled for, unprofessional way to try a case. You all knew about this, and even if you didn't make your decision till this morning, to have 22 people plus all of this staff and every attorney march into court, be waiting as if it's some kind of game. Now I have to send them home. The state's not ready. They're not going to have a witness ready. We have another day wasted. I honestly, I have never experienced a level of unprofessionalism in my career. It's unbelievable.
So, Judge, if we had any pretrial matters, you asked us to be here at 9:15. We were here at 9:15 to discuss pretrial matters. I have been practicing in this county for 22 years.
You know what? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
She's a public defender. It makes me feel really bad about this. She's probably very underpaid and very overworked. So I don't know what her reasoning was. But, she's a public defender in a very tough spot.
Well, Judge, you're insulting me on the record in front of my client, and I believe that I should be able to
Okay,
defend
you
myself.
can do that later. You can make your record later, but you've been insulting me the entire trial. So, blatantly, taking your headphones off, arguing with me, storming out, coming late intentionally if you don't like my rulings. So, quite frankly, this has been long overdue. So please be seated. You can receive the evidence. I will receive the evidence. And then you can...
I think there's some kind of high school bullshit going on between these two ladies. I feel bad watching that. Content warning. This could be rough to watch. This is a Parkland widow giving their thoughts on what happened today.
And fiery end to today's proceedings took everyone in the courtroom by surprise.
And we are now getting reaction from some of the families of the Parkland victims. Let's go to local 10's Janine Stenwin, who continues on live team coverage now from our newsroom. Janine.
From veteran attorneys observing this case to Parkland families, this caught a lot of people by surprise.
I said, what?
Debbie Hickson, stunned and a little relieved at the news the defense decided to rest its case. Her husband, Chris, killed that day in Parkland.
I'm still, I think, in shock. I have no idea what that might mean for the case. I mean, if I was completely honest, I would say that I'm glad that it was definitely very, very hard to sit through all of that.
Parent Fred Guttenberg tweeting, "I am in complete shock. That's all I will say about the trial at this time. Once the jury renders its verdict, I will have much to say."
Surprise, 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 right? The defense had a surprise party and on the guest list was not.
I don't think they can. This is just sentencing. I don't know, because like the only thing they can appeal is, you know, the if they choose it. Like I don't even like either of those options. Like it to me, like it doesn't even fucking matter really. Just put him in there for life. I don't know, but I guess the family is pushing for the death penalty.
Not the state nor the judge. So.
I feel bad. I feel bad for the public defenders in this case. I don't know the issues that led to what was going on between her and the judge. Yeah, he pled guilty. This is just the sentencing. It's just death penalty or life in prison. That's all this trial is about. I mean, I guess you could try to make some kind of an appeal if they come down with a ruling of death penalty. I don't know.
Defense attorney
tough
Eric
questions.
Schwartzreich says attorneys have no obligation to tell the judge beforehand who they're calling to the stand or whether they plan to rest, but
it was strategy. Now, it wasn't professional, and the judge certainly did not like it. What more can the defense do? Every time they were making their point, and the defense just needs one juror that they can convince for life. Mr. Satz for the state kept getting up and bringing it back. Did you know that the defendant did this, that he did these searches? Did you know that the defendant went to the school?
Hickson, who's been in court every day she can be, tells us this.
And I know that that's a choice, but it's a choice I made because I want to see this through to the end. So the idea that the end is closer is a relief.
And some families have chosen not to react until all of this is over, and that could be a little sooner than we all anticipated. Remember, we are live, gavel to gavel on local10.com whenever court is in session. Scan this QR code to find a timeline of events and information.
And I'm like, hey guys, what I'm doing is exploitative. You know, whenever I'm just watching a cop death video just for the hell of it that doesn't have, you know, a criminal justice purpose. Now this is exploitative. My God. Makes me nauseous just looking at that. You guys may have heard about a bomb going off and a worker being injured in Boston last night. But officials are now investigating the incident as a possible hoax. Northeastern University in Boston reopened on Wednesday after an employee reported being injured by an exploding package. Boston police and the FBI are now investigating the incident as a likely hoax, multiple law enforcement sources tell CNN. Tuesday evening, an employee said a hard plastic case exploded in Northeastern's virtual reality lab. The employee told investigators that when he opened the package, it depressurized with the force of an explosion. 45-year-old man who opened the package suffered minor hand injuries, university and law enforcement officials said. Boston police and FBI bomb technicians didn't find any evidence of explosives nor an initiation system capable of causing an explosion. And the package wasn't sent to the lab through the Postal Service. Detectives and law enforcement agents were reviewing surveillance video on Wednesday to try and isolate images of how the plastic case got into the building and determine who it was carried by, according to multiple law enforcement sources. The lab manager, who worked in Northeastern's virtual reality lab since at least 2020, told investigators that he found a note with the plastic case addressed to the lab manager. One-page note accused the lab of secretly working for Facebook and Meta founder Mark Zuckerberg in a U.S. government plot to take over society through virtual reality, the sources said. The manager stated to investigators that he saw two similar cases in the lab that he did not recognize, so he opened one of them, according to a law enforcement source. Lab manager stands by his account, a law enforcement source says. CNN has reached out to the lab manager for comment. A Boston police spokesperson said Wednesday evening that their investigation is ongoing. Northeastern's campus is now secure and open with beefed up security. Well, that one's a little weird. But at least it wasn't an actual bomb. The QR code, the fact that they go live from gavel to gavel whenever the proceedings are going on, all of that just felt nasty to me. That's one of the reasons why, like, I don't like working in local news. One of the many reasons. Reasons why I want to do the news in a new kind of way, where I smoke pot and get high with blackjack and hookers. Start our own news with blackjack and hookers. That should be the slogan for the Troll Patrol. We'll start our own news with blackjack and hookers. Content warning on this one, because a crash, a call for help, a mental health crisis. A Boulder man's 911 call ended with a deputy killing him. Body camera footage shows the police response descend into violence. Do we have the actual footage? Oh God. Double content warning. Oh, and I forgot when we were on the school shooting thing, I should have done I can't even find it. OBS, it switched my shit. Yeah, remember, kids, shoot up drugs, not school.
Well, keep your windows down because we're here to help you.
So, for those of you who don't know the setup for this, he called 911 asking for help. But he had said some weird things on the phone. Said that his vehicle was trapped. I can't remember how he put it. We're only going to see the in his 911 call, Glass repeatedly told the call taker that his car was stuck and he was afraid. He told her he had 2 knives and a rubber mallet when she asked if he had any weapons, but said he would throw them out the window when deputies arrived. Dispatch audio provided to Denver Post by Glass's family attorneys show, "I'm not dangerous. I will keep my hands completely visible." So like he's telling them, "I'm not dangerous."
How about you step out of the vehicle? Step out of the car.
Hey, dude, we're
Edward Queen 676, and it's going to be a property damage crash.
What's your name? Christian. I'm Tim. Dude, we need you to step out to figure out what's going on, okay? No, dude. We're not going to shoot you, but we need you to come here.
My God, that is the worst fucking foreshadowing I've ever heard. I don't like this movie, and I've seen it way too many goddamn times. We're not going to shoot you. Fuck off, dude.
Do you need medical? Do you need medical, brother? Well, you said paramedic. You said you want a paramedic, so do you want medical? I don't either. Go get your sticks in case this goes mobile. You got him for a second?
Oh my God.
Stop. Take the keys out of the car. Take the keys out of the ignition now. Take the keys out of the ignition. Put them on the dash. Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
He's just like a young, aloof hipster dude.
Step out of the car.
You want beer?
Not like he said, "Do you want a beer?" But I would hope the cops aren't drinking on the job. My God, what the?
Come out and talk to us.
Come on, dude. We're here to help. We're here to help. Come on, bud.
Please push me out, ram me out, and I'll follow you to a police station.
For what?
Why are we doing this?
He's like, just push me out of the ditch, dude.
Step out of the car now. That's a lawful order. Step out of the car. You'll be removed from the vehicle. Step out now. You don't need to be terrified. We're out here to try and help you and have a conversation, okay? You crashed your car.
I crashed, yeah.
Okay. What did you take tonight? Any drugs?
So I smoked. I've been. What's that?
Don't worry about it. Focus on me.
Okay, I'm so scared.
You already said.
I'm wondering what the gigantic bag of shit, but he said your sticks. It's probably the shit that they use to break windows open. But that's a gigantic fucking duffel bag he has.
You have weapons in the vehicle. Because you already said you have weapons in the car.
Okay, I'm gonna pass them out. Can I throw them
No, do not throw them out. Do not touch them. Do not reach for them. I want you out of the vehicle now.
I understand that.
Step out. Watch Crossfire in case he reaches for shit.
He's got his hands up. He's like, "I'm not a danger. I'll throw weapons out the window." And it's not even weapons. It's a rubber fucking mallet and some fucking knives that he was using. Because apparently, like, he was like an amateur archaeologist or some shit.
I don't know yet.
He has a reason to be scared of you fucks.
I can't hear you. Okay, well, I'm here to talk to you. You need to get out of the...
What the fuck is that tattoo? I can't tell what it is. You guys got any guesses? I'm always fascinated by cop tattoos. It may be like a Marvel character or some shit.
Window. I can't hear you. Okay, well, I'm here to talk to you.
Kind of looks like a British flag.
Step out of the car now. I will break the window. Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
Why you gotta do
Step
that?
out of the car. (116) Party is not being cooperative and refusing to exit the vehicle.
Not a Confederate flag.
We got him contained for now.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna rush
Stop
it.
sticks are here. Do we need to start getting the supervisor monitoring on this, or just? You want me to try real quick?
Roll down the window. Will you roll down the window? I can't hear you.
Oh, he's from New Zealand too. I think I did read that. Oh, the cop is from New Zealand?
Is there damage to that car? Like, did he hit? And is there damage to the vehicle?
You got me? Just make
Yeah.
sure he doesn't hit the accelerator.
Looks like you hit the rock pretty hard, knocked his up that rock.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure we actually have a crash. You need to step out, man. Come out here and talk to me, please.
If he's from New Zealand, he's only heard about the way American cops are.
I can't hear you. I'm trying to get close to hear you. Right now, your vehicle is crashed. You need to step out. You need medical attention.
It's not really crashed. It's just kind of stuck in a ditch. You really could probably just get it out of the ditch.
I can't hear you. I cannot hear you.
Sometimes damage underneath is deceptive.
Get out of the car now. Open the door and step out.
So about an hour. They spent about an hour. I don't understand. Well, clearly he's not a threat.
Christian,
Paper in?
right here.
Right there.
Look.
Look to your left.
Look over here, man.
Look by the window.
You want some paper? So you can write me what you want? There you go. Christian.
116 on that P1.
Get him out of the ditch.
Yes, man, just info for the medics. There is an empty pill bottle unknown in the car, and party is
Empty pill bottle. Oh my god.
Where you see that, bro? You saw an empty pill bottle in the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian,
If you go over there and look down at the bottom of his right
will you
leg.
come out and talk to me? Will you come out and talk to me? Come on. We need you to talk to us, okay?
What's she like? Maybe he's got a thing for women in uniform.
What's going on?
No. Be way too hard.
No, you got peace. Peace in your heart.
Huh?
But come on. Come talk to us, dude.
Get a hold of his hand and go from there. No, because then I'd be breaking that sign right
I mean, leaving would be a dick move. Just get him out of the fucking ditch. Then leave.
Cover him.
Are they standing on his vehicle? What the hell?
Don't think we'd be able to unlock the door. I want to get that one.
Yeah, because then we can pry it open and hit the unlock safer than...
If you can get that one
Yeah, if
unlocked,
we can get that one open and then being able to unlock that, unlock the vehicle from that side.
Hey, Christian, listen up, all right? Can you? No, listen to me. All right, I have to come in there to be able to talk to you, so I'm going. Since you say the doors won't unlock, I have to
This
break
is
the window.
ultimately probably going to be an M1 situation.
I have to.
And that's
break
why
the
we
window.
slowed
Okay?
down.
Can I break your window?
Because on its face,
Don't break his window.
You know.
Try it one more time. Then I'll have to break the window. You don't want me to break your window, right?
I don't like if you
break your window.
if you had just shown up and been like, "Hey, we're here to help. Let's get you out of the ditch. Step on out of the vehicle and help us here." He probably would have done it. Like it wouldn't have been like any big deal. Like, "Hey, we're gonna help you out of the ditch." But you approached him just like he's a criminal. Oh, Cicero, you make a very good point. If he hit his head, might have a concussion. I didn't even think of that. He called and asked for help.
But if you push the button one more time, we might not have to. Okay? What about if you pull the handle twice? Christian. Can you pull the handle twice? Just pull on the handle twice. For me, all right? Right now. Okay? Just pull on that handle.
Try it again, okay? Try it again, see if we can get you out, okay? One more time.
Pull on the handle, man.
Come on, Christian. Do us a favor, okay? Try that one more time. You can do it.
Venous blood flow.
Come on.
So glad to see you. Core, you snuck in here. I love your face.
Hit the lock.
I'm so glad to see you too.
It's time to move the night on, okay? We gotta move.
Yeah, Meat Cakes, good evening. Glad to see you as well. Yes, this is the 20-year-old or 22-year-old. He called for help. He was from New Zealand. They spent more than an hour trying to coax him out. They came at him, yelling at him to begin with. This whole situation is terrible because he said he wasn't a threat. He was asked if he had any weapons by the 911 dispatcher, and he said that he had a couple knives and a mallet because he was like an amateur archaeologist or some shit. He said he'd throw them out the window. And they're like, "No, don't throw them out the window." Rah, 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 rah. So that catches you up to where we're at. And unfortunately, content warning. This is going to be hard to watch.
Chief, you want to try and pop passenger side and then...
What would you like to eat?
You talking to Chief?
Yeah.
What's that?
You want to try pop passenger side?
What do they eat in New Zealand? Vegemite?
Did anybody check the hatch?
Don't eat first time.
He's hungry.
All right.
All right, now you must be drunk.
How does this escalate to where they fucking shoot him?
Come on.
Why are you standing with your hand on your gun?
Break the window this way?
Don't break his window.
Yeah, if you want to try and pop that side to get this side unlocked.
That'll work, I think.
Lamb and dairy product sounds
I can do
good.
it for the paper.
Tennessee, always good. Don't break his window.
Shotty?
Oh, damn.
Okay.
I got 9. Just the 2 rocks in his hand so far.
116 will be forcing at you.
Oh, I love that emote.
Got the knife. Drop
Knife.
it, buddy.
Watch out. Watch crossfire. Watch crossfire. Trooper on me. On me. On me.
Watch crossfire. Because they're all pointing guns at him now.
Fucking knife! Drop the knife, Christian. It's in his fucking hand, Chief.
Okay. Taser from over there.
Now remember, this is like a little baby knife. This is not any kind of a fucking machete or anything. He's apparently an amateur archaeologist. They motherfucker pulls a shotgun out.
Impact! Not dropping it. Christian!
Is that some kind of bean gunner? What's he shooting at him?
Don't do it, Christian! Don't do it! Drop the knife! Drop the knife! Drop that knife! Someone tase his ass. Someone tase him.
My God! Yeah, keep making it worse.
I'm gonna kill Grab the knife, Christian! If you do not stop, you can save yourself. You can still save yourself.
You can save yourself. You went from we're not gonna shoot you.
Drop the knife!
My God. They showed up and said, we're not gonna shoot you, as they're yelling at him. They went from we're not gonna shoot you to you can save yourself. An hour and 10 minutes.
Randy, you got that door held shut?
Motherfuckers!
He went for you, Williams, right? He's slitting his throat.
God damn it, no! No! Go get my medical bag out of the kit!
Drop it, Christian!
Oh my God.
Are they still tasing him after they've shot him?
Get that knife, he dropped it! Open the door, get the knife out!
Unlock the door!
Unlock the door! Where's my baton? You unlock the door over there! Give me baton, quick, give me baton!
How the fuck was he gonna hurt any of you with a knife?
Okay, come on, Christian. Come on, Christian. Yeah. Come on, Christian.
Fuck. Clear Creek County Sheriff Rick Albers did not respond to an email or phone call requesting an interview for the story. Williams, the Georgetown Police Marshal, declined an interview because of the ongoing investigation. Fifth Judicial District Attorney Heidi McCollum has not yet decided whether to criminally charge the officers in the incident. Please. She did not respond to a request for an interview Monday nor answer questions sent to her spokesperson, including a request for the names of all the officers involved. First and only news release about the shooting sent the same day as Glass was killed. The Clear Creek Sheriff's Office said Glass immediately became argumentative and uncooperative, and that he was shot after he tried to stab an officer. Glass is not even named in the release, but is referred to as a suspect, though the release does not say what crime he is suspected of. News release written by Under Sheriff Bruce Snelling did not mention that Glass was seated in the driver's seat when he allegedly tried to stab an officer, though he did tell the Clear Creek Current that the suspect did not leave the car. The press release does not describe why officers decided to break out the car windows. It also did not mention that officers on the scene had identified him as likely having a mental health crisis. They fucking knew and they shot him anyway. The body camera footage captured Collins speaking with Albers after the scene. I swear to fuck, sir, we tried everything, I guess. If you did everything you can, because it says expletive for those of you listening to the podcast. I guess it says I swear to fuck. If you did everything you can, that's what counts to me, Albers responded. But Glass's family doesn't think the officers did everything they could. Instead, officers took a gentle, peaceful soul and extinguished it simply because it was time to move the night on. The act of simply calling 911 for help cannot be a death sentence, the family's attorney said. People in distress need help, not force. All right, I'm not going to be able to stop the ad break on Twitch here in the next minute or two, so I'm going to go ahead and take an ad break. I don't have that much more content left, and it kind of separated my cops being dicks stories for the night. I got one more cop story I'm gonna throw at you. And that's what you're going to get when we come back from the other side of the break. Plus, we got Charlie Kirk. Apparently, a leftist tried to get Kirk arrested. A professor says her job is safe after her tweets about the Queen. Man has been charged for a crime against a black historian, I do believe. I believe somebody was charged. I might have got that wrong. They may just be looking for somebody. Plus, a kid got schooled by a cop, supposedly, according to PragerU, about free speech. All that and more on the other side of the break. Here on the Troll Patrol. Live. Hi, I'm Justin FREAKIN. I'm a leftist broadcaster and comedian. Not liberal. Leftist. And despite what you may have heard from right-wing propaganda, George Soros isn't handing out Soros bucks and funding people like me. There are no Koch brothers, Mercers, or any number of right-wing think tanks funding content on the left side of the spectrum the way they fund people like Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Dennis Prager. And YouTube doesn't monetize videos that are controversial or deal with politics unless you're someone like Steven Crowder. So this is an ultimatum. Become a patron. Support my Patreon, where I'm going to become a right-winger and get some of that easy money. You know for a fact that I could be bigger than Charlie Kirk or Jesse Lee Peterson.
Amazing!
All I have to do is talk about how I used to be an SJW snowflake, but the left went too far with their cultural Marxism, and Republicans are stupid enough to buy it, even though this video exists. And you know I'm right, so give me your money or I'm selling you out.
We live in turbulent times. The media is full of deception, conspiracy theories, and fake news. Now, more than ever, it is important to ensure you're getting information from a source that's freaking reliable.
I'm Justin Mullins, and this is the Freakin' News.
Get a breaking or interesting story with a humorous twist in about a minute weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, BitChute, Odyssey, and more.
I was trying to hurry and find a meme. I might have used this one before, but it's always a goodie. There's no princess. Cool. More cop shit. We gotta watch more body cam footage. I don't know if I'm ready for it yet. I gotta get a little more high. Make sure the ads on Twitch stop playing. Luigi is the keymaster. I know Toad might be the keymaster. Toad seems a little more Rick Moranis-like, don't you think? Oh God. What about the Super Mario Brothers movie? You guys for it or against it? And there's some people that think it's so bad it's good and really fucking love, like they have a fond memory of it. There's some people that absolutely hate it. I think it's telling what camp people fall into. I've never seen it either, Dustin. I've probably watched enough YouTube videos on it that I've seen its length of like the length of the movie. I've watched in like commentary on it on YouTube about how horrible it is, what a train wreck the production was. I mean, it caused Nintendo like to not do a movie for however many fucking years. They did a Pokemon movie a few years ago. No, Mox. No. The TV show was faithful to the cartoon and shit. The movie was nothing like the cartoon. The movie was nothing like the cartoon. It's like somebody took some fucking acid and gave you like their version of a fucking Mario game. Like it's set in some kind of like futuristic dystopia and shit. Like nothing resembling the game other than, you know, the characters' names and shit. Now we're gonna have to watch the trailer. Oh my God. Because this is just like it's a trip.
Where are we? I got a feeling we're not in Brooklyn no more.
They're brothers. They're plumbers. Oh no. They're on the trail of a kidnapped princess and a mystical meteorite. It's incredible! That gives anyone who possesses it the power to rule the universe. Get me the rock! Come and get it, lizard breath!
Looks very early 90s, doesn't it?
Rescue the princess.
Dude, one of the rocks. Somebody called Dwayne Johnson.
And make it safely back.
You smell what I'm cooking.
Alligator to our world.
Are you alright?
Before time runs out.
I think Dennis Hopper was at a very low point in his career at this time. He redeemed himself with that show on Stars a few years later.
Super Mario Brothers. This ain't no game.
I should watch it sometime. It's a movie to sit and watch with friends. It ain't no movie I'm gonna watch by myself. But some people have the member berries for it because they saw it when they were a kid and thought it was the coolest fucking thing ever, you know? That kind of deal going on. What's not cool is this black pastor getting arrested while watering their neighbor's flowers.
Here, man.
Like that fucking Segway.
They're saying that, is that your vehicle? It's not?
Hey, buddy.
The neighbors?
314, I'll be on 13.
Okay. You live here?
No, I don't live here.
Okay.
Oh, also, we should probably content warning. But he's just getting arrested. At least he lived through the encounter.
They're saying that this vehicle is not supposed to be here and you're not supposed to be here.
Who's saying that?
They called about it. I don't know who called.
I'm supposed to be here. I'm Pastor Jennings. I live across the street.
You're Pastor Jennings?
Yes, I'm looking out for their house while they gone.
Okay.
Watering they fly.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Now, do you have like ID and all?
Oh, no, man. I'm not going to give you no ID.
Why not?
I ain't did nothing wrong.
Well, look, listen, I'm not saying do nothing wrong.
Doc, listen.
He's watering their flowers, motherfucker.
Something good water. Don't come here with that. Okay?
Look, man, don't do this to me. There's a suspicious person in the yard, and if you're not one to identify yourself.
I don't have to identify myself. It's not a stock and identify state. That guy know me. He came to my store that got broke in. I live right over there across the street. Who called y'all?
That's what we got to figure out. But first, he don't live here. I'm not saying nothing about.
You have no right to approach.
Spray him with the water hose. Spray him with the water hose.
Nothing wrong. Told him I'm a pastor. I pastor until I don't hear. Sir. You want to lock me up? Lock me up. Nobody wants to lock me up.
Now I don't want to legitimize the religious people that are always wanting to throw their religion around and claim they're holier than thou just because they're pastor at church and shit. But that fucking means something in the black community. And this motherfucker is probably really well known in that neighborhood. So the idea that they would accost him probably is really fucking absurd to him.
I'm not showing y'all anything. I'm going to continue to water these flowers. I don't care who called y'all. Lock me up and see what happens. I want you to.
Hey, man, just come here and talk to us. What?
Water these back flowers is what I'm going to do.
Look, man.
You don't owe your shit, dude.
Just calm down, okay?
No.
Stop.
I like this.
Okay. We're just trying to talk to you and see.
I don't want to argue with you, okay?
All right, go ahead and do what you got to do, Doc. Do what you got to do. Go on and lock me up.
Look, just have a
seat. It's already
not locked up. You're
it's
just.
already a lawsuit, Doc.
Yes, sir.
It's already a
Okay.
lawsuit.
Just have a seat, okay?
Okay, already a lawsuit.
A neighbor came out and told them. We're seeing it right now. This is a neighbor letting them know they are good friends. It makes perfect sense that he is watering the flowers for them while they are gone. And these pigs still arrested him. You are pieces of shit.
Does he have
He lives right there.
Okay, does he have permission here to be watering flowers?
He may because they are friends.
Okay.
And they went out of town today. So
Right.
He may be watering their flowers.
Okay.
It'd be completely normal.
Okay, that's fine. If he would have said, "Hey, I got this," gave his identification because he's a suspicious person. He said that's not his vehicle; it's their vehicle.
Okay.
We have a call. Like,
Yeah.
we're here because we're called here. I don't know who called, but somebody did.
Yeah, he lives right there, and he would be watering their flowers. This is probably my fault.
Okay, who is Roy Milam?
Her fault.
That's you, ain't it?
I'm Michael Jennings, sir.
You're Michael Jennings. Who is Roy Milam?
I don't know.
Okay, that's who that vehicle belongs to.
Yeah, that's
who
all I
lives
know.
here?
His name is Roy.
That's who lives here?
That's Roy. I call him Roy and call his wife Connie, and I've been dealing with him for 7 years that I've been living here.
They are
He say he calls the wife cunty.
Thought saw someone besides him.
Right, I didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, Dustin.
Flowers watered. I got to keep their flowers watered while they're gone. You okay?
Listen to me, man. Listen to me. Anytime the police come out and they say, we want to identify you, you have to identify yourself because there's a reasonable suspicion. There's a reasonable
No. That's not how America works.
It's not a crime.
Yeah.
If you would have said, yeah, here's my name, here's everything, we were like,
I
okay.
told him my name.
You didn't tell me your name.
I decided. He asked me who I was. I said,
You didn't give it to me when I first
Pastor
asked.
Jennings. Pastor Jennings.
That's not a name.
But
That's
still,
a pastor.
Yeah.
I need your
The way
name.
y'all handle this situation was totally wrong.
Well, listen.
Yeah, it was.
We're not racial profile. No, sir.
Yeah, you did.
I told you I was here watering the flowers.
How do I know that's the truth? Anybody.
I had the water hose in my hand. I was watering all the flowers.
Anybody can pick a hose pipe up.
He is gonna be so pissed when I tell him I got arrested watering his flowers. 7 years we've been friends.
We got that. Look, let's sit back in here.
You got it.
You can sit down. Give me, so we can get this going on the ball. All right. What is your social?
I'm not gonna give him a social.
You need to give me your social.
I'll give you my name. That's all I'm gonna give you. You're not gonna run no 27.
Fuck you, pig. Fuck you, pig. Fuck you,
I
pig.
told you who I am.
Okay, yes,
I'm Michael Jennings. That's all you
Michael Jennings.
Michael Jennings.
There you go. Arrested while watering a neighbor's flowers. While black. You gotta add that in. I'm sure that played a big role in it. If I was out there watering somebody's flowers and I said that to the cops, I guess like, have a good day, and then just roll on out, I would assume. Maybe not me. How you even know I got an ad blocker on? No, it's supposed to bypass paywalls, ad blockers, anything. Man accused of racist attack on a black historian in Florida town faces an assault charge. Man accused of screaming the N-word at a prominent black historian and others, and then threatening to run them down in Rosewood, a small Florida town with a notorious racist history, has been arrested. Oh my God. According to an arrest report from the Levy County Sheriff's Office, David Allen Emanuel, 61, was arrested and charged on Monday night with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I wanted to say there was video. There's not video. God. Ow, motherfucker. Ow. Smokey. Ow. Stop. Ow. Smokey is clawing my leg right now. On Tuesday, Dawn, a prominent South Florida black historian, said he finally felt appreciated and that a constant stream of urgent emails he had been sending to the Levy County Sheriff's Office would stop. I feel more respected, said Dunn, the author of several black history books, who said he had sent a stream of emails to the Sheriff's Office in Levy County, which handles law enforcement in Rosewood. Over a decade ago, Dunn bought a piece of a 5-acre property in the historic town that was almost wiped off the map during race riots in the early 1920s. Ooh, I like this dude. He went to go fucking rattle some cages. I like it. I feel as if I got listened to, he said. The police did their job. Manuel's arrest report was brief and didn't offer much new information. Said he was arrested and charged with third-degree felony on Monday night after a judge signed off on a warrant. His bond was set at $50,000. His arrest history, according to state records, has been clean since the late 1970s and early 1980s, when the state dropped charges against him for burglary and fleeing from police. Calls to the Levy County Sheriff's Office were not returned. Emanuel hadn't been contacted by late Tuesday morning. Watch this kid on a college campus get schooled by a cop, apparently, I think according to PragerU. Which, I mean...
So a leftist...
This is a Will Witt, man on the street kind of deal. Is Will Witt the cop? Did this dude used to be the cop? A leftist student on campus. By the way, I got trolled by some dude on Twitter. And he went and he took a screenshot of my YouTube. But it showed me what he was watching. And like, he was watching like, leftist big mad at blah, blah, blah. And I just started mocking him for that. Like, that's hilarious that you watch that kind of content. Leftist big mad. Smokey, buddy. You're in my wires. Ow. Here, PragerU apparently goes and ambushes a student and tries to make him look bad.
Student on campus just called campus security on us because apparently we were terrorizing people and riling people up with our dangerous, horrible ideas. Let's see what these people have to say.
Hi, there are two people on our campus right here,
We're with a conservative group who are here to try to fearmonger students. PragerU, like Prager University, but
Now the problem with that is if like most colleges have like a little plaza where they let fucking speakers like do their thing in the college. Like, believe it or not, I would go to ours on my college campus and argue with preachers and shit. Just walking from class, like, oh, the preachers are out there. I'm gonna let me go argue with the preacher for a little while. Happens a lot, and like the campus is like everybody can speak there. It's a free speech zone. Blah 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 blah.
but they're not an actual legitimate university.
Well, they haven't harassed anybody, then they're welcome to be there, unfortunately.
Have you seen our stuff?
Oh yeah.
What do you not like?
Everything that you guys stand for.
What do we say?
Misinformation.
Like what misinformation?
Howdy.
Trust me, you guys are really good at it.
We're just curious.
However, when they first started, they made a really good video about like slavery being the cause of the Civil War.
Well, that's why we're asking.
No, you're not.
I've used that against so many right wingers.
No.
How can we help?
Could you remove these two from the campus, please? The reason? Because they're here to fearmonger students, and that's not okay.
Fearmonger?
Yeah, because these are people who are coming in and instigating and terrorizing our students on this campus, and that's not okay. I think all that
Are they telling you that you can't leave the area? Are they threatening you specifically in any way?
Not specifically. They're threatening me with their language, with their ideals.
Unfortunately, I mean, if your ideals or their language doesn't conform to what your thinking is, that's
Well,
that's what freedom of speech is.
It's not
so
my
if you
thinking,
agree with
it's-
something, he agrees with something else, you guys agree to disagree.
As long as they're not chaining you against your will,
Right.
as long as they're not threatening you physically, they're allowed to have their opinion just as much as you're allowed to have yours.
So there's nothing you guys can do?
This smells like a little bit of a setup.
That means they're allowed to terrorize students by using
Once
their...
again, terrorize is the word that you're using. That's your opinion. I'm here to help you as much as you can, but I'm trying to figure out what law they're breaking right now. So I'm trying to figure that out. That's why I'm asking you. You just keep giving me ideas, your opinions. And the law is not about opinions, it's about facts.
Are we done here, guys? Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Sorry for offending you. Anyway, thank you. As you can see, leftists don't support freedom of speech. I have dangerous ideas. I have ideas that are so terrible he can't even say what they are. They will not allow it.
It's the way he said everything. It just sounds like a right winger's idea of what a lefty would
So a
say.
leftist student on campus just called campus security on us because apparently
They're like deputized. They're rent-a-cops, but they're still cops. But so Will Witt here loves freedom of speech on campus and shit. Did you guys stand up for the professor at Carnegie Mellon who wished the Queen an excruciating death? I am so sorry I'm going to fuck your name up, but Professor Oju Anya told supporters that the university would not be taking action against her. Carnegie Mellon professor Oju Anya, who unleashed a social media storm last week when she wished the late Queen Elizabeth II excruciating pain in death in a tweet, is back on Twitter. In an update, she thanked the people who supported her and assured them that nothing was going to happen to her job at the university. I mean, since we're talking about the Queen again. Give me 1 second, I have to switch out the election. Okay. Boom. Anya had been locked out of her Twitter account after she posted a tweet on September 8th, which Twitter subsequently deleted, that said, "May her Queen Elizabeth II's pain be excruciating." Anya's made her comments in response to the United Kingdom's dark colonial past, which included support for Nigeria in the country's war against the breakaway Republic of Biafra in the 1960s. Millions died as a result of that war, including some people from Anya's family. Anyone expects me to express anything but disdain for the monarch who supervised a government that sponsored the genocide that massacred and displaced half my family, and the consequences of which those alive today are still trying to overcome. You can keep wishing upon a star," Anya said in a tweet, which remains up in response to the criticism. Good on her. What followed was soap opera level drama featuring real life scenes in which Amazon founder Jeff Bezos criticized Anya. Carnegie Mellon disavowed her tweet after Bezos posted his tweet. Amazon is one of the university's donors, after all, and students, faculty, and staff started online letters to support her and help protect her. Tuesday, Anya announced she was back on Twitter. Her first order of business was thanking her supporters, which included her partner, Siri Alang. Anya said she was grateful for everyone who had tweeted, spoken out, organized letters, and done whatever they could to support her. I dig her. I'm going to go follow her myself. Oh, I'm already following her. And I don't think it's in relation to this, so she must have said something badass before now. She was already on my radar. All right, back to normal troll graphics. Apparently, leftists also tried to get Charlie Kirk arrested. Charlie Kirk went to a campus. The last one smells like a plant. See what we think about this one.
Taken away if he gets put on the court.
The right to be
Can you go help me get these signs?
That'd be great. I don't want to talk to this guy.
Interesting. Kavanaugh.
You know this guy?
No, I have no idea. I'm trying to ask who he is.
He's like an anti-choice Twitter.
Pro-life.
Whatever.
Wait. I think he's talking about Kavanaugh. First of all, Charlie Kirk looks way younger than he looks now. The hate has rotted his skin, I do believe.
You live in sexual anarchy?
He's just like a normal, like, cheap racist sexist.
Well, I'm racist. I have a black communications director. How am I racist?
Exactly what a racist says.
No, seriously. And a leftist walks away.
This is an interfaith coalition.
Very cool.
Yeah. Do you know this guy? I do. Okay. They're following you around?
Yeah.
It's my baby's. Yeah.
Oh, I lost you for a sec. Come on, man. Have at least a sense of humor about it.
How do you feel about sex education?
Actually, you and I might have some agreement on that. How are you?
Hi,
Nice
Ann.
to see you.
Hey.
Charlie.
Is this your camera?
It is.
We actually have a permit for this area,
Okay.
so we're only allowing people to film that are actually with our group. We can go talk to the Capitol Police if you would like.
Would love that. You should have them come and tell me I can't be on U.S. federal government property.
You shouldn't actually agree to be on
I
camera. Nobody's recording.
Well, he can agree to whatever. Isn't speech and assembly fundamental to our republic? I mean, you're kicking me out of
I'm kicking you out because you're here putting people on camera
with
having
their consent.
conversations.
Hello again.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing great.
Wasn't until you pointed it out to me, but I.
Sounds like it is a private event, Charlie.
Hey, thanks a lot.
I am being calm, right? So if I step in here, I'm being a problem, but I'm here, I'm not.
Yep, exactly.
So what happens if I'm here? It's public
We're
ground.
getting the Capitol Police here. If you would just.
Permit is a permit to assemble, not to
You're
discriminate.
not allowed to come and talk to any of our people.
Your right to free speech doesn't trump his.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clearing that up. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I don't think this was a plant like the last one.
No, he's pretty happy. He's gonna get confirmed. This is Buddy. He doesn't talk.
Okay.
He's my shadow. So you guys gonna like freak out when he actually gets confirmed? Because that can be like a really bad day for you.
Everything is at risk.
And like all this effort, all this commotion. Court will go 5-4. It'll be Kavanaugh,
5-4.
Gorsuch,
Oh my
Alito,
God.
Thomas, Roberts, and maybe when Ginsburg.
What a much simpler time.
It's gonna go 6-3, 7-2. Then what? Like, it's gonna suck. But like you just brought up skin color, and she called me a racist. Like, why is the left?
She did bring that
No,
up.
yeah. So I wasn't involved in race at all whatsoever.
Have
in
you
the
heard of the
conversation.
Southern strategy? It's this interesting
Yeah,
thing where the kind of
so,
core strategy
interesting.
of the Republican Party for like decades
So
now
here's an interesting. Why is it as the
been-
South got less racist, it got more Republican? I think we got a new one here. What's your name?
Did the South get less racist?
What don't you like most about Kavanaugh?
I'm just here holding the sign.
Yeah, this is totally from like 2017. That was the first thing I noticed was how
Someone
young
said protection
Charlie
of the
looked.
vulnerable. But if you want to protect the vulnerable, how could you not protect the unboring?
Just don't talk to me.
How are you?
I mean, I gotta like Charlie recycles his content
shirt,
all the fucking time. That's what like this was just posted the other day. But once again, it's a video from 5 years ago.
It's amazing. What I find amazing though is I always love talking to people I disagree with. I can't get people to talk.
This dude looks like he is the singer of a punk
Actually
band.
does add up to why the left hates speech, free speech. Makes a lot of sense.
Does the left hate free speech? Or are you're just being antagonistic to people who don't want to deal with your bullshit? You wouldn't just let people into a TPUSA event, motherfucker. You didn't let the Nazis in, did you? Here's a cat at a pond. Somebody go get your kitty. Loose. Apparently just showed up at this pond. That's a big kitty. I can't tell if it's like somebody's pet or if it's a wild kitty, because it could go either way, because it's really well fed. You have panthers in your neighborhood? Oh my god. Once again, I've said this many times, if I die by mauling by a big cat, don't cry for me. Like I died doing what I love. RB, I'm sorry, what got modded? Boom. I'll allow it. I didn't even look and see what you said. I'm surprised at what gets up, because like I'm on the lowest level of moderation now. It's just a little moderation, so I don't know why it gets so moderated. Like if that kitty mauls me to death because I was trying to pet it, I died doing what I loved. Oh, Smokey's been in my lap all fucking night. He wouldn't leave me alone. Now he's laying over on the futon. Haven't even looked and seen who's on. Is it a Wednesday night? Is it Intellectual Dollar Tree yet? It certainly is. If you are watching on Twitch, you are heading over to Echoplex Media. HK and producer Dave will take real good care of you. I don't know what they're watching. They're going old school tonight. This is an older clip. I would say it's Elron, but this isn't Thursday night, so I wouldn't think it's Scientology. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin FREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night. Maybe on the Troll Patrol. I might be on somebody's panel. I'll be broadcasting one way or the other. Something will be on here at some point in time. Night. No, thank you guys.